Hello, Lena. It's been about a week since we met last. So before we begin and get into some of how the last week has been for you, I just wanted to let you know that we only have 2 sessions left. So I wanted to go ahead and set some preliminary goals that we can go over throughout the next 2 sessions.
Okay.
So do you have anything that you want to specifically touch on? Because I know we've talked about a lot in the last few sessions. A lot has come out. So,
I think one thing that's really important to me now is to feel safe. And like in the past, I've said that I don't feel like I'm completely unsafe, and now I kind of, feel like I need to be able to protect myself, and I don't feel like I can do that anymore. So I need help setting something up like that.
okay. So tell me what brings that about. Why do you say that you need to feel safer?
Well, so I went home after our last session, and I tried to talk to Jorge a little bit more about some of the things that I wanted to work on in our marriage, and I told him that I've been coming here, and that just like totally set him off. So he just like acted like crazier than what I've ever seen him act like before.
Yeah. Well, that must be really scary. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So what specifically did you say to him about meeting with us?
Well, I told him that I'd been coming here looking for some advice because I was just concerned that, like, I'm not doing everything right and that that's making him mad, and I wanted to figure out ways that he and I could communicate a little bit more effectively. And yeah, that just made him upset that I would go, like, over his head to talk to somebody else about our issues, because he doesn't really think that that's like okay for me to do.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you did a really good job of taking, like, not taking your own part, but kind of keeping it on a level playing field, and communicating with him in a very healthy way, and not just saying it's all your fault, like all this is you. So what do you think that you could have done differently in talking with him? Do you think there's anything that you could have done better, or do you think you kind of said what you needed to say?
Well, we didn't actually talk for that long. Like, I feel like I tried to keep myself composed and tried to like word things the right way that would be, beneficial for both of us, but then he just like blew up. So we didn't talk for like too long before that happened.
So when you say he blew up, what do you mean by that? What exactly happened?
I don't really I don't know that I like feel comfortable talking about that.
Okay, that's totally fine. And I do want to say, since I am a male, this may be triggering for you, and if you don't feel comfortable, that is totally fine to not talk about that here, or I can refer you to a female that you may feel more comfortable talking to.
Mm-hmm.
So we can just move past that if that's what you want to do.
No, that's okay. I actually really appreciate you saying that, and I don't know. I feel like at this point you know so much that it's like, it'd be pointless for me to try to go to somebody else, but thanks for that. Okay. So basically, whenever I started talking to him and telling him that I've been here, he just got like so angry, and he like pushed me up against this wall, and like he like choked me a little bit, and that was like, I mean, he's never done that. That's never been like his thing. There was just more like punching and stuff like that, and he like threw some things at me. So yeah, and then he just said that he was like gonna kill me if I ever came back here, and I don't really think that I can keep trying with him. If I can't like even take care of myself, then I don't think I should be around him anymore. But I don't know where I can go because my family isn't around and they can't really help me. And I don't have like any friends here, so.
Yeah, totally. That must have been very scary. So have you reached out to anybody else? I know you talked a little bit about having somewhat friends at work or some friends at church in your small group.
Yeah.
Have you reached out to them in any way, whether you said exactly what happened or whether you just said something was going on?
I mean, like, so at church, we were like in our groups this last week, and I did tell them that we were, Jorge and I were having some problems, and I didn't really feel like there was a lot of support there, and there was kind of just this feeling of like I have to be the one to make the changes in the relationship, like it shouldn't really be up to him because he works so hard and I just like stay home most of the time whenever I'm not working. So that was like the feeling that I got from that whole group was that it was just kind of up to me, that I had to be the one to fix things. And like I appreciate that. I can see where they're coming from on some level. So, but I didn't really feel like they were that great of a support.
Yeah, that must feel really heavy to have all of that put on you, especially by multiple people.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot. So have you talked to any of your friends at work?
No, not really. I tried to call my mom, but like since Jorge and my dad had that huge fight and everything, my dad doesn't really like me and my mom talking that much anymore, but she's pretty worried. So I don't really know what I can do because I'd like to go and see her, but he won't let me. He won't like, I don't have any money or anything, so I can't go out there to be with them.
Right. Yeah, well, you mentioned earlier that your main priority is your safety at this point. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So it sounds like you've kind of reached the last straw with Jorge.
I mean, I still love him. Like,
right, of course.
I don't think he's a bad guy. Like, and like I've said this whole time, there are things that I can do to keep him from like getting so angry, but at the same time, like I feel like I'm doing all that I can. So, yeah.
Right, and to give up a part of yourself is too much to do.
Yeah.
So what do you want going forward? It sounds like you've had a lot with Jorge and you're very scared. What do you think the future looks like for you? And we can role play this out if you want.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to be able to have access to my own money. I think that that's pretty important. And I mean, I've said this whole time that like I don't want to leave him. I don't want to get divorced. He's been like so supportive of me this whole time, but I don't know. I just don't know. Like maybe like a little bit of space from him for a little while would be better. And then, I mean, I don't know. I think it would be helpful for him if he would get some help too.
Definitely. Did you bring that up to him when you were talking with him this most recent time? You did? Okay. Well, it sounds like he's not safe to talk to about this. That's just what I'm hearing from you. And I did look into some resources, and I found a domestic violence emergency shelter. That if this kind of thing were to happen again, that you could go to a safe place. If you don't feel like your church support group or your work support group is helpful to you, you can definitely go to this. And it's the YWCA emergency shelter. And I'm sure there are plenty of other social work settings where they deal with more domestic abuse that I can refer you to.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great.
So is there anything else that you want to talk about? I know we've touched on a lot for the last couple sessions.
I was wondering if, like, I don't know, I just feel like I am the only person that deals with this, and like all my other friends from home look so happy, and like that just makes me more upset because I feel like I'm out here by myself, so I'm lonely, like physically lonely without other people around all the time because Murray's gone so much. But then I also feel like lonely just in terms of like nobody else that I know has ever dealt with anything like this. Like my dad was kind of angry growing up, but he never did this kind of stuff to my mom. So I don't know. I don't know. I still feel kind of sad, like all the time, and I've been trying not to drink as much, but that's hard too, especially like after this last incident, because it's just like I just like can't get it out of my head, like the things that he was saying to me, like just screaming at me and yelling at me and calling me all these names. Like I can't stop thinking about that. So like I don't know what else to do to get myself out of that like space, and I just feel like I have all these nightmares and lots of anxiety, and I just don't know what to do about that. I feel really alone and really afraid all the time, and just so like stuck in that like moment of him like beating me up, and I just can't. I feel like I can't get past that. Yeah.
Totally. From hearing you talk, it sounds like you talk a lot about going to see your family. What would that look like to take some space from Jorge and to just go spend time with your family? Would your family be able to help you out in any way getting there, or is that totally out of the picture?
My mom might. She still works, so she might be able to help me just in terms of like, I don't know, buying like a bus ticket or something for me to go out there.
Does that sound like a good option to you? Do you feel like you'd be most safe with your family?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I don't know. At the same time, like, I know that my dad hates him, and he, like, really resents me for leaving the family, like, to be with him and for choosing to be with him. So, I don't know. I just feel like maybe even if my mom is willing to help me, that, I don't know if I would be, like, allowed to be there because of my dad.
Right. Well, it looks like we're about out of time for this session. Is that a terrible?
We can end this out. You're fine.
Okay. Yeah, I probably don't want to end it there. I'm just kind of running out of things to say.
Mention like finding her like a woman's support group, domestic violence support group.
Okay.
In the meantime, so that maybe she has somebody to talk to, and then maybe ask her what she wants to get done before she comes in, so that we can wrap up our final session next week.
I also would say, like, I feel like I'm not supposed to be giving you guys this many pointers because I don't want to, like, overwhelm you or tell you anything wrong. But, like, I think it would, gross. I feel like it would be helpful to be like, when in your mind is, like, a time that you draw that line and say, I need to leave right now. And like, obviously I already know that I can go to the shelter. And then you can also say, like, let's set some measurable goals that might get you closer to being out with your family.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll
Awesome.
like that.
Good deal. Okay, I don't even know where to pick back up.
Well, the last
There
thing.
was a pause, so
Yeah. I can cut it wherever.
I think the last thing you said was that getting back to your family would be good, but that would be, you didn't know if you'd be able to like stay there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one thing that we can do is set some measurable goals to get you out to California, if that's something that you really feel like you want to do. What do you think would be some smaller steps that you could take towards getting there?
I think, like, if I could maybe just talk to my dad first, like before I tried to go, that would probably be helpful, just to like maybe explain the situation to him a little bit, and I don't know, see if he'll forgive me for leaving in the first place, and yeah, I think that would probably be good.
Yeah, that sounds like a great start. It really does. Are there any other things that you think, like maybe money-wise or other support group-wise, that are any other way that you could help get yourself out there? Like maybe start saving up some money from your work, just like outside of Jorge. Is that a possibility, or does he?
I could try, I make like tips and stuff, so I could try to like put some of that aside, or like have one of the other people at work like hang on to it or something so he doesn't find it.
Right. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to bring up is support groups, other support groups. So I don't have the list on me, but by the next session I can look into more women's support groups for domestic abuse. And kind of going off of that, where do you draw the line with Jorge? What would be, what in your mind would be too much?
Well, actually, I'm kind of having some thoughts about what you just said, because like I don't know, like abuse is a really strong word, and I feel like you can't like I know he loves me, so it's hard for me to think about it in terms of like abuse. Like that's not really a word that I am super comfortable with. But like I do think that he just is like too angry. So where would I draw the line? I think if he were to like if he were to hit me again, that would probably be it.
Okay. And one thing that we can do in these last couple minutes is set out an action plan for if that were to happen. I know I gave you some resources already, but what step by step do you think we could, or you could do to remove yourself from the situation and get to a safe place?
I guess I could like call a friend from work, or I could just like call my manager or something if that were to happen, because like I don't have a car or anything, so I guess I could just try to like go to a neighbor's house or something and call them, and then see if I could go with them or if they could take me to the shelter.
Awesome. Well, yeah, these are good things to think about, because if that line is drawn, then you want to be able to have some steps that you can take where you're not just thinking in the moment. You can really rely on others to help you out. So I think that wraps us up for this week, but I appreciate you coming in, and it was a wonderful session, and we will meet again next week for our final session.